Gotcha. I'm trying to keep this clean for YouTube, but anyway. I've expressed before that I used to be a pharmacy technician, right? If you don't know what a pharmacy technician is, think about what a nurse does, except the pharmacy version. So, you know, the pharmacist is the one that a pharmacist is actually a doctor. So what a pharmacy technician does is assist. Oh, come on, just freaking die. Did he just kick me out? What the? Come on. But yeah, basically, pharmacy technician is the one that assists the pharmacist in filling prescriptions. Let me clear that up. Not everybody that works at the pharmacy is a pharmacist. The pharmacist is an actual doctor. The pharmacist they got their doctorates. Their PharmD. That's what it's called, a PharmD. Oh crap, I'm out of ammo. They still gotta of course, get their doctorates, of course, like I said before. Now, it's less time. Come on. It is less time like a where am I going with this? I'm all mixed up, y'all. It's less school time than a regular MD doctor, but it's still a decent amount of time to have to go to school. It's a minimum of, I want to say, at least 8 years to get your PharmD. I don't remember, it's been so long. But that being said, retail pharmacy.
Hated it.
I hated working with retail pharmacy. Get out. Retail pharmacy was the worst. And let me say this now, for anybody that goes to the pharmacy to pick up their medications and is always angry at the staff, 9 times out of 10 it's not the staff's fault. They're working with very little. From what I remember when I was working in retail pharmacy, like CVS, Walgreens, you know, there's Walmart and all that stuff. I worked both CVS and Walmart at one point. Not at the same time, but anyway, let me tell you how it is to work in retail pharmacy. This is the best way to explain it. Imagine working at working on the factory line, right? Well, you know, you're just making the products. You just But instead of you're just making the product and then it keeps going forward on like the belt or whatever is going on, just imagine working at a factory where you're not only making the product, but you're also selling the product at the same time. So imagine you're making like a car, right? Okay, no, that's a bad example. You're making a product, but while you're making it on the factory line, you also have people coming in that's buying it as well. So imagine you're on the line, you know, you got to make the product and this, that, and the other, but you also have to get off that line and then you have to go to the register and sell those products to the people. That's what retail pharmacy is like. And I remember when I was at the last pharmacy that I worked at, CVS, when I was at CVS, the store that I was at, we did about 300 to 400 prescriptions per day. And it was only 2 technicians and a pharmacist. Now let that sink in for a second. 2 technicians and a pharmacist. And this was at my store. Now we was a medium-sized store, and there's bigger stores that do more than that. And of course their staff is a little bit bigger, although not by much though. We are very busy, or we were very busy. Well, I was very busy when I was working retail pharmacy, but it's. And then like with these big companies, they want you to do more with less. And again, I always tell this story. Ow, 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 ow. Move, 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 move. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. And you know the one thing I hate, what people used to always say when they come by and we're working on the prescription and they want it right then and there.
Aren't you just putting pills in the bottle? Aren't you just counting pills and putting it in the bottle?
Can I tell y'all something real quick? Stop saying that. Please stop saying that. I don't work in the field no more, but I still defend the people that does, because I was in their shoes at one point. Let me tell you why that's not accurate at all. If we were just putting pills in the bottle, let me tell you what the process is of working when we fill a prescription. And this is just one, mind you, this is just one prescription. First, and the reason why I pause again, because I have to concentrate on this. First, the person is dropping off the prescription if it's a paper prescription. A lot of times now, a lot of prescriptions are electronic now. But guess what? We have to type that in the system. And it's even harder when it's a paper prescription. And the reason why why? Everybody should know what a doctor's handwriting look like. Doctors' handwriting are terrible. I have learned how to read doctors' handwriting, and yet I still need help when I'm looking at it. Like, what is this scribble scrabble? I can decipher doctor's handwriting now. It's still a little difficult, but anyway. But yeah, most prescriptions are electronically sent. And we have to type those in. So first we have to type them in, make sure everything is right, make sure we're selecting the right medication, this, that, and the other, make sure everything's being typed in right. Then we're typing in the prescription, and then we attach it to your profile. If you have a profile, now if this is your first time filling, then we have to make your profile and all this stuff. And then after that, if your insurance is already on file, cool. But if it's not, then we have to get the insurance from you if the doctor didn't send that information, which most of the time they didn't. So there's that. And imagine prescriptions coming back to back to back to back to back to back. Somebody got to type that in. And then after that, after we type it in, goes to the system, right? And when we type it in, we run it through the insurance. Now, this is the headache, right? This is part of that headache. The only thing we do when it comes to insurance, the only thing a technician does when it comes to insurance is just run it through. We have the insurance in the system. We type in the prescription, the day supply, how many pills, the instructions, and all that kind of stuff. And we send it to the insurance. That's the only thing we do. We send that claim to the insurance. That is the only thing we do. So when people get upset and say,
you're not putting in the insurance right, this, that, and the other, it should cost less than that. My copay should not be this.
We submit the claim to your insurance and they give us a copay back. We do not control what your copay is. And even then, we don't directly control the prices of the actual medication. Because this is how it works. When you're filling up when you're getting a prescription, there's the wholesale price of the medication, right? So let's just say, and this is me just throwing out numbers. Let's just say out of pocket, your medication is $100. Medication is expensive, first of all. Let's just say your medication is $100. After we run it through insurance, depending on what your plan is, what they're willing to cover and all that stuff, when we send that off, the information off, they come back and say, charge the person $15. So that means that out of that $100, the insurance covered $85 and the rest, which is that $15 copay, is your responsibility. We don't control that. We don't say, okay, the price is going to be this, your copay is going to be that, this, that. We don't control that. So I want y'all to realize this. And I've been on both ends of the spectrums. I've been at both retail pharmacy and I also been on the insurance side because that was my last job. I was working at a call center for prescription insurance. I've been on both sides. Now there's a lot more that's behind it, but I'm not gonna get into all that. So that is just the insurance side of things. And then after that, and I'm just talking about CVS. Retail pharmacy is like this all around, but sometimes the process is a tad bit different, but it's usually generally the same all around. So with CVS, when I was working at CVS, after we type in the prescription, mind you, this is just one out of the many that we had to do, because the way that they have it organized, right, on the computer, it has a whole bunch of prescriptions that need to be filled. So there's the production, there was what was called drop off, where the prescription was being dropped off, or where the prescriptions will be electronically sent to. After that, then there's the production, and they might have changed the order of things. Then there's the production where the pills are actually being counted, this, that, and the other. So after that, there's this whole page. There's multiple pages of prescriptions that had to be filled. So what I remember is each page fit up to 15 prescriptions that has to be filled, right? And they used to be 3, 4, 5 pages. Now, I'm just talking about the CVS that I worked at. And there was bigger stores that had even more pages. But usually, for the most part, it'll be like 3 to 4 pages. So 3 to 4 pages throughout the day. And those was like the automatic refills. People that had the medications on automatic refill. All that kind of stuff. Those were just those. We're not even talking about the new prescriptions that people were dropping off and the doctor's offices were sending to us. Those are just the automatic refills. So that means there's, out of those prescriptions that we have to fill that's already in the system, there's additional prescriptions that's still coming in. So let's go to production. We have to print out those prescriptions. And what I mean by that is, those labels that you get when you pick up your prescriptions, the bag, and then that label that has all that information on there. We print that out, and then after we print that out, we go get the medication, And then after that, we come down, we go to our little station, pour the medications, the pills, they come in, usually they come in either big bottles or sometimes they're smaller bottles, dumping out to our counting tray. We have to count it, and we usually count it by fives. Now, mind you, one prescription. This is just one prescription. And it depends on how many pills that person is getting. For the most time it's usually 30, 60, 90. But sometimes it could be even more. There's people that has 360 pills and all that stuff. And depending on what medication you're taking, sometimes the pills can be small, sometimes it can be huge. If anybody that's listening to this takes metformin, which is a diabetic medication, you know how big those pills are. So imagine trying to count 360 pills in a timely fashion. And the thing is, each medication has a time that it needs to be done, or we get docked for it. So mind you, this is just one prescription. So let's just say it's 8 o'clock right now, and this prescription needs to be done by 8:20. So we have 20 minutes to get that done. Now mind you, that might not seem like a lot. Like, okay, but when you're working on multiple prescriptions, that's a lot. Let me get back to the game. So after that, mind you, just one prescription. After that, once we count it, we put it in the bottle. And if they're big pills, sometimes you dump it out, count 30. You put the 30 in the pill bottle, stock bottle. That's the word I'm looking for. The stock bottle where all the medications are at. The big bottle of pills. I'm all over the place with this. So sometimes we gotta dump the pills back into the stock bottle and pour it back on the tray, because depending on how big the pills are, that's not all gonna fit in the tray. So then after that, after we count everything, slap the label on the bottle, and then we have to pass on to the pharmacist. They have to make sure, and what the pharmacist's job to do is to make sure it's the right medication in the bottle. They have to make sure that the prescription was typed in right. If there's any errors whatsoever, the pharmacist has to send it back, and we have to correct those errors, because they're the last line of defense before those medications go out. Because if something gets messed up with somebody's medication, well, you know how dangerous that can get. Somebody can actually die. And then after that, somebody bags it up and it goes on the shelf. Now, that might seem like a simple process, but again, when you're working on filling over 300 prescriptions per day, not only that, the same technicians that's counting your pills, your tablets, is also the same ones that's ringing you out. Also the same ones that if there's any insurance issues is calling your insurance. So there'll be times where there's insurance problems. We're on the phone talking to the insurance, trying to get things squared away, but we're also still typing in prescriptions at the same time while we're on the phone with the insurance. Or sometimes we could be on the phone with the insurance while also counting pills. It's a lot of multitasking, and accuracy is important. It is important when when you're in the pharmacy, because again, you're dealing with somebody's life. That's why I couldn't become a pharmacist, because that's too much responsibility. I cannot become a pharmacist. They make good money, but it's not worth it. I don't want nobody's life in my hands like that. Now, at my store that I worked at when I was a lead technician, which is another thing. When you're a lead technician, you have to do additional work while also still doing the regular work, counting the pills, and then we're taking phone calls as well from the customers or patients, whatever you want to call them. We got used to the term patient. So imagine doing all of that. Imagine doing all of that while still trying to be accurate, still trying to be careful, on the phone, counting pills, typing in prescriptions. And the biggest thing about retail pharmacy is I don't care what is going on, you are always understaffed. Imagine all of this is going on and you're understaffed, especially during rush hour. People getting off of work around 4, 5, 6 o'clock. It's busy. People coming back to back to back to back to back. And you're so busy ringing out people on the phones that, pills aren't getting counted. Prescriptions aren't being filled. The drop-off queue is... I don't remember every single term because it's been so long, but I remember enough. Just know that everything's getting backed up. So yeah, all of this is going on. Now, yes, the pharmacist can also do, all of this stuff as well that the technician can do. But if their job is to check the prescriptions, make sure everything is right. Now, mind you, pharmacists are also taking phone calls as well. Pharmacists are also consulting patients if they have questions about their medications. They're doing a lot of stuff. And then some doctors, what they do, they call in prescriptions by they call in prescriptions by phone. So they're taking that in as well. They're doing all of this stuff while checking to make sure your prescriptions are accurate, make sure everything is accurate. There is a lot. If you really want to know how it's like in the pharmacy, there's this YouTuber who is also a pharmacist. His name is, his YouTube channel is RX Comedy, I believe. Yep, it is RX Comedy. He is a pharmacist. He do funny videos on what it's like to work in the pharmacy and all that stuff. And it is accurate. When I say I be laughing at these videos, I be laughing because they are so spot on, 110%. So, goodness. So imagine, right, again, the pharmacist is busy and they're the ones that's supposed to make sure, they're the last line of defense, make sure everything is accurate. They have to look at their prescription, make sure, and there's problems, we have to rectify it. And sometimes doctors make mistakes on what they write in the prescription, or it's not clear on what needs to be done. So guess what? We have to call the doctor's office, get some verification from the doctor. So while we're on the phone with the doctor, again, we're counting pills. Sometimes, there have been times I've been on the phone with the doctor's office or on the phone with the insurance company while also ringing people out. I am telling the truth, y'all. If you know a pharmacy technician, if you don't believe me, ask a pharmacy technician that. You could be on the phone while ringing people out and doing this and that and the other. It is so much multitasking going on in the pharmacy. And mind you, we're always understaffed because these big corporations, CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, all of them, all of these big corporations, they don't want to spend the money to give us the proper staff. So we'll be understaffed. There's one technician, one pharmacist, phones, and then phones are ringing, customers are coming in, and then, there'll be patients that have problems and be like, my copay is not supposed to be this, or what's going on? Why is it taking so long? This, that, and then there's some patients that come in, drop off 10 prescriptions and expect them to be done in 15 minutes. You drop off 10 prescriptions and you expect to be done in 15 minutes. And then when we tell them it's an hour or two, they want to get all mad and this, that, and the other. Come on now. You just gave us 10 prescriptions. Again, mind you, we have to type those in. And if we're trying to read the doctor's handwriting, PTSD, y'all. I'm so serious. So we got to spend all that time. And again, there's still electronic prescriptions that we have to type in. Now, mind you, again, there's prescriptions that has to be done within a certain time, and if they're not done within a certain time, they get marked as red, and then, corporate, they see all this stuff, they don't want to come in, it's like, oh, you got to get your numbers up and this, that, and the other. Corporate wants to be on our butt. You know how corporate is. If you worked in retail anywhere, not even just pharmacy, retail anywhere, corporate is the biggest freaking headache. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, when it comes to the pharmacists, they gotta also give vaccinations as well. So imagine during flu season, they gotta give vaccinations while also making sure prescriptions are accurate and done right, while also taking phone calls from doctors, when doctors, all that kind of stuff. And if the pharmacist is out and about, everything stops. It's one thing when the technician is out, but when the pharmacist is busy with something, everything stops. Because they have to check every prescription before it goes out. So if they're busy with something, we're backed up, and somebody's been waiting for however long, they're like, I need my prescription now, and this, that, and the other. Pharmacists need to check it, and then when you tell them that, it was like,
check what?
They were like,
what do you mean they need to check and make sure? Why they have to verify it?
So you won't die from the wrong medication. There's a lot of pharmacists out there that when they go home, they have a lot of anxiety when they go home because they're thinking, oh, did I mess up this prescription, mess up that prescription? Because if the pharmacist missed something, oh gosh, that's the worst. And I've witnessed it before. I'm not going to say too much, but and nothing bad came out of it, but I saw some stuff get mixed up before. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Again, I was a lead technician. So, I'd be working on inventory, try to do the schedule, although my boss took over the schedule, thank goodness. So when it comes to retail pharmacy, I'm probably missing some stuff, but when it comes to retail pharmacy, when you go in that pharmacy, please respect the staff. I cannot stress that enough. Please respect the staff. Please respect the staff. They are stressed. They are overworked. They're understaffed. Phones are ringing. Let me tell you something. I remember this one time, right? I was working. It was just me and the pharmacist. We are busy. This lady had an attitude problem, so she came in like, mind you, the phones are going off the hook. When I say the phones are going off the hook, and we can barely answer them because this lady come in. She had an attitude already, so she was calling. She was coming in while she was on the phone, right? because she was calling us. Now, mind you, our phones are very loud. So when the phone used to ring, if anybody has gone to CVS before, this is what you hear. One pharmacy call. Oh gosh. PTSD. I'm not lying, y'all. I used to hear that in my dreams. One pharmacy call. 2 pharmacy calls. On a bad day, 4 pharmacy calls. 4 pharmacy calls. Phones are ringing off the hook. So, mind you, she comes in on the phone. My pharmacist is busy on the phone or doing something. I'm ringing up people, and she comes up calling us and have it on speaker to basically show us that she's trying to call us. And then she was like, "You're not busy." She was telling the pharmacist, "Pharmacist, you're not busy." Lady, the pharmacist was on the phone or he was doing something. Yeah, it's only 2 of us. We got 3-4 pages worth of prescriptions, and again, each page is 15 prescriptions, 15, 30, 45, 60 prescriptions that we have to have done before a certain time, before the day is over with. And if we're busy answering the phones, ringing people out, all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm the lead technician. So if I'm the lead technician, I got to do inventory stuff. I got to do this. I got to do that. And for anybody that thinks pharmacy technicians get paid a lot, no, you have to be working in the field for a bit. Like, before I left CVS, I was making $18 an hour, and only because I was a lead technician. And when I first became a lead technician, they started me at $12.50. But when I first got in the field, they started me at $9.50. Now I know they changed like the starting pay and all that stuff, but even though they change it, they don't give you hours. So when it comes to retail pharmacy people. So, and again, this is just in my store because we had a smaller store, but the bigger stores, it's work. One thing I forgot to mention. See, I keep forgetting this because the last store I worked at didn't have a drive-through, but the pharmacies that have a drive-through, rest in peace, controller. Because even though it doesn't sound loud to me here, I know on the mic it sounds loud as crap. If the store had a drive-through, oh gosh. So when somebody pulls up the drive-through, the phone tells us when somebody pulls up, and I forgot what it says. It says lane 1. Yep, that's what it was like. Lane 1. So then we're at drive-through, they're picking up their prescription, or they might be dropping off prescriptions, then they have millions of questions and this, that. And if they never been there before, then we got to type in the insurance and all that kind of stuff, this, that, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. So if there's lines of cars in the drive-through, and then the pharmacy is busy, it's and then you have some of those patients, if you tell them it's going to be more than 15 or 30 minutes, they'll get mad and they're going to like,
well, I'm going to stay here until I get my prescription.
See, we'll tell people to go around, but they don't want to do that, or they don't want to wait inside. They will stay there, and then you have to argue with them, and And I thought at first, like, the way that I was handling the situation, because it was stressful. I thought I was just weak. But come to find out, this is nationwide. This is how it is in that field. And it's only getting worse. Because ever since the pandemic made it worse. People want to hurry up and get their medications, all this and all that. And now with the COVID vaccine, I feel bad for those pharmacists and technicians. Oh gosh, I gotta reach out to some of my old coworkers, see how they doing, because I know they gotta be stressed out. But yeah, that's how it is working for retail pharmacy. So again, if you notice, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So if you ever notice that you see everybody running around, do whoop at the pharmacy, and it's taking longer than expected for your prescriptions to get prepared, that's what's going on behind the scenes. Stop getting angry at them and just be patient. I know you need your medication. I know that is going on. And when it comes to insurance rejecting your medication, do not tip that out on us. Well, on the pharmacy staff. They not the ones rejecting it. That's the insurance. Take it out on your insurance. I'm getting angry over here. That's enough of this subject because I'm really starting to get PTSD, y'all. But please just respect the pharmacy staff. Just be patient, please. In the times I go home and I don't drink as much as I used to. I rarely drink now. I used to drink a lot when I was working in the pharmacy. Yeah, when I was working in the pharmacy, I used to drink a lot. Again, I don't drink that much no more, but I used to drink a lot. I had to drink something when I come home because that's how bad it was. Like, again, I thought I was just weak at first, but then when I really put it together and look back at it, those conditions was horrendous. So please, everybody, if you go to the pharmacy, just be patient. Of course, if they being disrespectful, the pharmacy staff, because there are some pharmacy staff that was just, whatever. But just please, just be respectful and just be patient. They deal that staff deal with a lot. But enough of that topic. Let's just keep on moving and playing the game, because I'm starting to relive some of that stuff now. Alright, y'all, that's it for today's video. And as usual, if you like this video, go ahead and press the like button. If you dislike this video, hopefully you didn't. But if you did dislike this video, go ahead and press the dislike button, because I always appreciate honesty. Drop a comment below, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, promoting peace, gaming, and wings.